for another episode of Leadership of the Leaf, now in their third season. More leadership topics to discuss and more cigar knowledge to share with great pairings. Grab a cigar, give it a cut and light, and put some smoke in the air with your host, Dice and Austin.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Leadership of the Leaf. My name's Austin.
What's up, Austin? I'm Dice.
Hi, Dice. And friends, good to be back for another episode.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, always. Before we get started, as we always do, Dice, I gotta know, what are you smoking today?
It's a little different for me. I don't think I've ever really seen a cigar this shape.
It's definitely different.
Try showing you in the camera a little bit. I don't know if it's going to come out in pictures when I show them on Instagram or not. But it's an oval, like football shape.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a Casa Magna D Magnus II Tiberius. That was a lot.
Is it Kentucky bourbon rye Werrell?
See, why are you trying to play me? Yes, it's all of the above.
All the above. Okay, but is it a cigar?
It is.
Does it fall under the cigar umbrella?
It does. Casa Magna. So it's actually, so far, I'm enjoying it. The construction on it is a little not too pleasing, but I'm gonna kind of give it a slight pass because of the odd shape.
Okay, fair enough. And I saw you smoked a drink. So what Hennessy are you pairing this with?
Ever so slightly, I smoked with what is that? Oak? Nope, I'm a liar. Cherry. I smoked it with cherry wood. VSOP, sir.
Okay.
VSOP.
That's fair.
But I did see in the sales paper, I don't know, do people still look at sales papers? I don't. I just happened to look at one. And there's a grocery store in my local area that has Hennessy on sale.
Ooh.
At the lowest I've ever seen Hennessy on sale. And they have a limitation of 4. So I'm going to try to sweet talk the wife there and see if we can do more than 4.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Just saying.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. All right, I'm down with that life.
So, before we get into your concoction of a drink here.
Concoction? It's all poured out of one bottle.
What are you smoking before we get into that drink, sir? Because I like the color of your band.
It's pretty, right? It's a very pretty, greenish teal color, I guess. But this is a Dunbarton Tobacco Trust Company branded cigar. It is the Sobremesa Brulee Wagashi.
Oh, the Wagashi!
The Wagashi.
I know someone that was smoking a Wagashi when I met them at PCA.
Weird.
We smoking Wagashis and stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to smoke one. He was smoking one. And you're smoking one. So now I guess I'll find out at the end of this episode if I'm going to smoke one.
Yes. Yeah, you should. All right, fair enough. And I'm pairing that with Aberfeldy Highland Scotch Whiskey.
Highland Scotch whiskey. So it's a Scotch whiskey.
Yeah,
Scotch.
Yeah.
But it's a whiskey.
Scotch. All Scotch is whiskey.
If all widgets are wazzes and all wazzes are widgets. Okay.
All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. And Istanbul is somewhere in this general direction. Then who is that?
How long does it take you to get to California?
Yeah, right.
All right. So a Scotch. You drunk Aberfeldy before?
I have.
Yeah.
This particular drink came out of it's the last glass out of that bottle.
Oh.
So I figured I was like, might as well finish it off. Yeah. Yesterday, I had 3/4 of a bottle. And then today I only had one drink out of the bottle.
Because that's all that was left. You're drunk?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was watching football. We were watching, me and the wife watching football. And I don't know where it went. I don't know who else drank out of it, but it was somebody else. It wasn't me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I got it. So, football. Do they do like a yellow card in football?
No.
No? Red card?
No. That's soccer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unless you're talking about football, as some Europeans call it.
I don't know. I just want to talk about colors.
Colors? You want to talk about colors?
Yeah.
Like cigar colors?
Cigar colors is great.
I like that topic. We should talk about cigar colors. All right. So we're going to talk about cigar colors, and then for our leadership topic, what do we have, Dice?
Well, as I'm looking at the show notes currently, I noticed there's not a title there. We're gonna look at everything through a color lens.
Ooh, color lens.
Yeah, you mentioned lenses before, and I was like, you know what? Let's talk about these lenses that you keep talking about. It's probably not precisely what you meant by your lenses, but we're going to give a good ballpark of color lenses.
Hey, I'm down. I'm about it.
So I'm sensing a theme of color.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? This is just a colorful episode. We might even use some colorful language.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Oh man. The color of your band was amazing. The color of my band is actually slightly, I want to say, boring. It's like if you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that's a cigar band.
Right.
Yeah. It wouldn't pull me in, but what did pull me in was the shape. So
that's fair. That's fair. Something interesting.
A lot of people look at the color of cigars. Like mine is more of a brown, not really reddish brown, and they try to determine what that cigar is going to be. Now, I want to go on a precursor. Like the color of the cigar is not necessarily going to tell you the flavor profile and everything about that cigar. But as a rule of thumb, majority of the time, or some of the time, however you want to place that, the color wrapper of a cigar will help you determine what kind of cigar that's going to be.
Yeah, so, there's the old adage, never judge a book by its color or cover. You should also never judge a cigar by its wrapper. And I say that with an asterisk. The color of a cigar can somewhat help you determine notes, strength profile, that sort of stuff, like flavor notes and some strength profile, all that fun stuff. But without further ado, let's get into this. So the first one I want to talk about is the Candela wrapper, which is the green wrapper.
Yeah, I think the Candela or double Claro. If someone sees it, they immediately that's a cigar.
Yeah.
Like, what else in the world is going to be that color that you're going to smoke, right? It's definitely eye-catching in the sea of brown.
Right.
And we're talking of the tobacco industry, sir.
I'm just asking.
I saw the little, we're talking of tobaccos.
Okay. All right.
Not left-handed tobacco. Regular, run-of-the-mill. I was going to say legal, but it's legal in some states.
Not that sticky icky?
We're not talking about the Snoopaloop.
The blueberry yum yum?
That purple Urkel, baby.
Alright, anyways. We've talked about Candela before.
Around which holiday is that? I can't remember. Is it Halloween?
Something with green. When does everyone wear green?
Cabbage.
Corned beef.
I'm lucky to
potatoes.
Leprechaun Day.
Yeah, St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
Yeah. So cigars rolled with these wrappers, they're obviously super hard to miss because they're green in color. This just means that the leaves were harvested before that tobacco has been fully matured. Then they quickly dry to lock in that chlorophyll content, which gives it that green color. And they were very popular back many years ago, decades ago.
Yeah.
And they're usually not super popular today unless it's St. Patty's Day. You know, you got the filthy hooligan.
Yeah.
You know, you got those sweet. There's a A10 by Rocketel.
That's quite a
Is that
few.
green?
I
I know it's got a green band.
Yeah, I think it's Barber Pole.
Yeah, it's powerful. Anyways, there's a bunch of them out there. So they're grassy flavors, cedar, a little bit of green tea. They're kind of sweet, maybe a hint of pepper in them, but they're not as popular as they were today as they were a while ago.
Yeah, definitely for me, they're definitely slightly sweet. And I want to contribute a grassy flavor to the color of it. I think your mind is playing like that whole subconscious thing where it's like green means it's going to be grassy.
Yeah,
That could be. But yes, definitely a barnyardy, grassy. I'm down.
yeah,
Well, once you get past that, because let's be honest, people aren't really picking that up left, right, and center unless
Right.
you're a boomer that remembers that time frame, or it's around St. Patrick's Day, or some other special occasion that you want to get that green one. I would say probably the more common colors are the next ones coming up, which is going to be different, like shades of tan, beige, and brown. You're going to have the Claro. Claro tobacco is grown under a cheesecloth tint. Some like Connecticut shade. I believe
Yeah.
some people would classify it as that. You want to cultivate the leaves a little earlier than you normally would. Keeping them in the shade is done to minimize the exposure to the sun to protect the leaves from varying weather conditions. Once they're air dried, they are distinctive golden and tan in color. However, these wrappers add a little to the flavor of the cigar and put the focus flavor more on the fillers instead. When the first time I read that, I thought of the Macanudo Cafe series.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good.
A lot of them, if you look at the color, they're very light and beige in color, similar to what you're smoking now. And then once you light it up, like pow, the filler is what really like hits home.
Yeah, the shade wrappers, the Claro wrappers, they add a tiny bit of like creaminess to it, so to speak. But the most of the flavor notes you're getting are going to be out of the binder and the filler. So the wrapper's not adding that much to it. They're not. It's not like some that we'll talk about later, like an Oscuro or a Maduro or something like that. They're very just light, creamy looking cigars.
Well, I think of Claro, it makes me think of something smooth.
Yeah.
There's very minimal harshness to it. Now again, there's exceptions to the rules. A lot of Connecticut's come off creamy and smooth, but there are some Connecticut's out there Claro out there that is designed to knock your socks off.
Yeah, it's all just depends on the type of tobacco used in the filler and the binder, and how it was grown, where it was grown, how it was matured, all that sort of stuff. So the stuff you can't go on gospel with this stuff, because whether and where it was grown, like the soil and stuff, that all plays a huge part of how the tobacco tastes. And that's why we talk about, hey, it's got a Nicaraguan binder or a Ecuadorian wrapper or whatever the case is. We talk about that stuff. We say that because Ecuador and Honduras and Dominican Republic and all these other places have way different soil temperaments, so to speak, as in like they all infuse the cigars a little bit differently. But another wrapper would be the Colorado Claro. which is a light reddish brown that are made from leaves grown in direct sunlight and are not picked until quite mature. They contribute a fruity and sweet element to cigars. They have rich aromatic scents that make it a favorite of many cigar aficionados. They're often known as the English market selection. This would be like a punch. A punch is a great example of this.
The English market selection is just saying that is what is it, made for the New World and not the no. Do I have that backwards? English market selection means it's made for the entire world and not the American market selection. The American market selection is more of the new age tobaccos and stuff that we smoke today.
Yeah.
Normally the boxes, when you buy boxes of cigars, that have a certain marking on the actual boxes to let everyone know which kind of taxes it's going to get. So yes, Dyson, I did have them back.
You did, but that's okay.
Okay. What was that? Colorado Claro?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Colorado, the wrappers are more brownish red instead of reddish brown. They're more brownish red, like what I'm smoking now. And find a place right in the middle of the cigar wrapper color scale. I mean, because if you was to lay it out like a rainbow spectrum of colors, this would be the one right in the middle. They're all often in shade grown and left to mature for a little longer to develop that robust profile. Again, that's some of the flavors that we were talking about. Cigar enthusiasts enjoy Colorado wrappers for their full body flavor that contributes to a much softer aromas as compared to the darker counterparts. This allows the filler tobacco to stand out, similar to the Don Pippin Garcia Blue. When I think of smoking something in this Colorado shade, I often think of I'm more concentrated on the actual cigar instead of the actual smoke output of it, of how it's going to smell when I'm done.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those ones that's, it's right there in the middle. This is kind of one of those ones that it's hard to determine, how that cigar is going to taste by the color of its wrapper, because they could pack that full of the filler, full of, shade filler or whatever, Connecticut leaves or something like that, and they're going to be able to be a lot lighter of a cigar, versus they could pack that thing full of Nicaraguan or Ecuadorian tobacco, and it's going to have a little bit of spice to it. It's going to be a little bit stronger. So that's why we say you can't always judge a cigar by its color.
Well, it's definitely that middle ground cigar. So, like when I would assume when these cigar rollers and everything, master blenders and stuff, they're looking at this is an even palette right now.
Yeah.
And then I can see them switching up the wrapper to try to go match some kind of flavor, or actually go complete opposite, as we were saying. But this is definitely the middle ground. This is the starting ground, I would assume, for majority of the cigars out there.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I would agree, and it's, I would say it's a pretty popular shade of wrapper.
I was going to say a generic shade.
Yeah, generic. Yeah. All right. The next one would be a Colorado Maduro wrapper. This is a dark brown shade that falls on the lighter side of dark brown. I know this gets very difficult, but it is lighter than Maduro, but darker than a Colorado. They're usually counted among the most classic wrappers, contributing to a full-bodied smoke. Also known as a Spanish market selection. These are compromised between Maduro and Colorado. Being darker than Colorado and lighter than Maduro, they have the more aromatic flavor profile, but not all of the strength and punch of a Maduro. So this would be like a La Perla Habano Maduro. Something like that.
Yeah. I think I had that La Perla before. I have to check my books. This Colorado Maduro, when I see it, it kind of plays trickery on your eye. And I'm going to go ahead and say, fun fact, yay! Majority of the sorters in the warehouses and stuff where they roll tobacco,
yes,
are women.
Well, yeah, they have more cones and rods. They can detect the colors differently. This is the same reason that, fucking Tennessee orange and orange look just slightly different to her, or fucking pumpkin pie tan and sand color look slightly different, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. But this comes
different. Okay. Maroon. It's not maroon, it's mauve. What the fuck did you just say?
Mulberry? No, I don't
yeah, mulberry?
Salmon is pink.
Yeah.
This one plays a trick on me, or a play on me, because I know I'm not going to pick up something and be like, hey, this is a Colorado Maduro. Not without reading the tag or knowing that cigar.
Right.
Like, I know certain cigars we know 100% without shout it out because we smoke them on a regular. But like this one that I picked up, I don't smoke this on a regular. This is the first time I ever smoked this. You think I'll pick it up and be like, you know what? This is a Colorado. No, fuck no. Without reading the tag or getting some kind of description. No, sir. Nope. Not me. I don't have the number of cones and rods. Matter of fact, the cones and rods I do have, I think they're fading.
You are old.
Yeah.
Speaking of different colors, what color would you give your first third? That was a stretch.
That was a very, to the imagination, I will go with it. My first third is definitely going off a white pepper and earth.
White pepper and earth. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not mad at it. It's a wonderful roll of the smoke on my palate. I don't know if this football shape is playing a part in the flavor of how the swirls go in my mouth there, but it's different.
Interesting. All right. Mine is, it gives me sweet cream, citrus, and some baking spices on the retro.
Ooh, retro. Wow.
Yeah, it's got like a sweet cream, little toast, some baking spices. There's a sweet component. I don't know if it's coming from sweet cream or it's like a honey type stuff, but it's good. And then if you retrohale, you could get quite a bit of spice, black pepper, baking spices, kind of spice.
Baking spice. I think that's what I never fucking know how to describe this spice, but I know it as soon as it hits my palate. I know it, but I don't know it. That doesn't make sense. But
no, I get it.
What's the star anise?
Yes.
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I know I see it. If I'm down the spice aisle, I can show it to you, pick it up, smell it, and tell you that this is what that retro is.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah. So far, this is burning pretty well. This is a what do they call it? They call it a trunk press. It's not a full box press, but they call it trunk pressed.
Semi-box press?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see it there. Like,
I see. Yeah.
It's a little bit fatter than a box press. It's not as wide. It's got a lot softer edges, so to speak. So,
I will say your cut is not the greatest of cuts there. What do you did a DV, yeah?
I did do a DV. I don't think I got it evenly.
I was going to say, did you pause halfway through or something, or no?
No.
Okay.
Could just be my cutter needs to be sharpened.
No, I've seen some of your cuts have been like amazing. Just that one, it doesn't look as amazing as your other cuts I've seen.
I'm super sorry to disappoint, Dice.
I'm not trying to talk shit, man. Come on, I'm just being helpful.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, mine isn't the greatest either, so.
Alright. Anyways. Next color.
Darkness! No, we're not there yet. Not there. The next color is Maduro. Translated from Spanish means mature. And I've been doing my Duolingo.
Oh, yeah?
I have not made it to the word Maduro yet, which means mature. True to the name, these wrappers are cultivated from some of the highest leaves of the plant that are exposed to the sun for a long duration. Typically, it can take many years for the curing and fermentation process of Maduro wrappers. The aging process performed in the hot conditions of pressure chambers makes the Maduro leaves coarse and thick. These leaves are also high in nicotine and contain and exhibit a distinctive sweet flavor. There's many examples of Maduro out there. The 5 Vegas Ace Series A is one.
Underground Maduro.
I mean, it's in the name.
Yeah. Well, but there's Colorado Maduro.
Oftentimes when I'm smoking a Maduro, I get the sweetness of the tobacco. Not a sweetness like candy cane or some kind of like over-the-top
but
sugar
like dark chocolate.
Yeah, it's definitely a tobacco sweetness. More of a plant sweetness.
Yeah. Yeah, you get that. I always get like some dark chocolate or something like that. You're not going to get like honey or sweet cream or anything like that. You're going to get like, oh, there's a little bit of dark chocolate. Oh, there's a little bit of cacao in there. Like, okay, yeah, I get a little bit of sweetness on this. You know, maybe a slight fruitiness on some of it. You know, like a fig or something. You know, like kind of that's that tart sweetness that might have a little bit of spice to it. Yeah, Maduros are. I mean, though I feel as though I don't have any knowledge. I don't have any figures to back this up, but I feel like those are becoming one of the most popular, if not the most popular, cigar on the market today.
I will agree. I will say that I'm venturing more towards liking Maduro more than a lot of the other flavor shades of cigar colors out there. What was the cigar we smoked a couple of episodes ago?
Good question.
It was like hard on the back end but soft on the front end. Remember I asked you about yours and you was like, mine's the same. Anyway, doesn't matter. That was definitely a Maduro.
Well, and like I mean, Sin Compromiso. You know, that was our cigar of the year or the season, whatever we want to call it. That's a Maduro wrapper.
Yeah. And that cigar's definitely got a sweeter edge on it than a lot of other Maduros I know I have smoked. Which isn't a bad thing, man. I mean, no. Maduro, a really good Maduro. Jeez.
For sure, yeah. I mean, a great Maduro can be good. They can also be very harsh and, like, you know, Gurkha harsh almost, where it's super peppery and you're like, what the fuck did I pick up and put in my lips?
Padron does a real good job of doing a great balance of a Maduro to where it's not overly sweet and it's not overly harsh. They nail it. Just about every Padron in the Maduro, well, Padron period, but every Padron I've smoked in the Maduro family has been like fucking walking a tightrope of being perfect.
Yeah, no, it's they do a really, really good job of that, for sure. So there's also another color that's after Maduro, which would be Oscuro.
Oh, darkness! Now I can do it. Darkness.
Yeah. These are the highest leaves on the tobacco plant. They're exposed to the most sun. Difference is they are left on the plant for as long as possible before they have to be cut. Once they get cut and they're cultivated, they undergo a much more strenuous and longer fermentation process compared to a Maduro. This almost results in almost a black wrapper with a very pronounced flavor and a very rough, toothy texture.
Yeah, we smoke Oscuros on occasion.
They're not as prevalent out there, though.
What is that? Great Cliff has like a double espresso that's fucking like a double Oscuro. Man, that was an amazing smoke.
Wasn't there was another one. I feel like it was like a punch or.
Oh yeah. You know, you had a Punch Diablo.
Punch Diablo. That's an Oscuro wrapper.
Yeah, that was a dark one.
And that hits you. I mean, the nicotine content of Oscuro wrappers are you know, it's going to be the highest out there. So it's definitely not for the novice smoker.
Yeah, I wouldn't jump to that if you're new. I do know that. Let's look behind the curtain of some of the cigar industry, because not every single cigar manufacturer is going to be straightforward and honest with us out there. Because to get the Oscuro color, you have to do so much to it. You have to pull it at a late age, and it matures, and fermentation takes a long process. So I know not a lot. I do know some cigar manufacturers out there, even down to Maduro and even some Colorado Maduros, they paint them. They use different sorts of dyes and coffees and other things to get a certain color of that wrapper that they want. Not every single cigar manufacturer out there does it, but some of them do cheat the system. So that is another reason why you can't really judge a cigar by its wrapper.
Yeah, and really you can look at it too, and Oscuros tend to be a little bit more expensive because they have to leave the plants out there longer, right? The tobacco has to sit a lot longer, which is why there's not so many Oscuros out there. Because, time is money, right? So
yeah.
They're not always going to be the cheaper cigars. You don't want to find these in the bargain bin, so to speak. You can find good Oscuro cigars for, $10, $12 a stick or something like that, but no, I highly doubt that you're going to find a good Oscuro for $5.
Yeah. Yeah, I did find one that's close to the $5 range, but it was a small. I mean, like when I say small, it was like probably 4 to maybe 3.5 inches, and it was a torpedo shape. It was done by the guy that did the guardrail. Who was that?
Christoph.
Christoph, yes, I can't remember the name of the cigar, but it was a Christoph Oscuro cigar. And
okay.
For a small cigar, it was great. Like it had enough bang in it for like a normal size, like a regular like Robusto cigar in the size of whatever you want to call that size. Who knows what they call it now? But it was a very small cigar with the full flavor of a Churchill. There we go.
Yeah,
that's
there
it.
you go. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll let it slide this time. But yeah, every cigar and color and size and shape is going to affect how you perceive the individual flavors in each tobacco blend, right? We've proven this. We've had the same cigar in a Toro, and then we've had one in a Robusto. They're different flavor profiles. They're very similar, but they're different flavor profiles, right? We've had, you could take the same cigar in a Lonsdale versus, a Toro, and you're going to get completely different flavor profiles. So once you start noticing the finer distinctions between different premium cigars, you're going to be able to enjoy an enhanced smoking experience and really kind of be able to pick those flavors out and go, oh, I like this cigar, but I only like it in Toro. Oh, I like that cigar, but I only like it in Robusto, or whatever the case is.
Yeah. There's people out there that's like that. Considering we're wrapping up the cigar colors, wrapping it up, yeah. How about, what if your cello is yellow? That's a cigar color. Well, related. Have you ever had a cellophane that was yellow?
I have.
Oh.
I've had several. Still have some in my humidor right now.
Oh. Why on earth would it go yellow? Is it going bad? Austin, is my cigar going bad?
No. It gets your cellophane as a plant-based wrapper, right? We've talked about it before.
Yeah. And
so it is just your cigar is coloring your cellophane as it ages.
Oh. Almost like it's releasing oils and stuff?
A little bit.
Oh, that's amazing. I guess I need to go get mine out the trash then. Because I threw them away. I thought they were going bad.
Well, unless they have mold.
Mold. Which color is that?
White.
Oh. Nah. You would definitely know. I did not know. Now, I'm not trying to bring up hard feelings for our past, but
yeah.
But we are talking about cigar colors, so I want to make sure
it was white fuzziness inside the cigar. It looked like it was off of a block of cheese or a bad apple or something like that that rotted or whatever, went bad.
Okay, well, I poked enough fun at you. I just want to make sure we got all the different spectrums of color dealing with cigars out there, because our cigar topic was color. Yes,
and our leadership topic is going to be the 4 lenses which is the colors of how you see the world.
Oh.
You and your second third, or you want to do it after the break?
Let's hit it up after the break.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Other side.
Have you ever wanted to suggest a new leadership or cigar topic to your favorite podcast?
I would like to, but I don't think they would listen.
Well, that's not the case with Leadership of the Leaf.
Really?
Yeah, only thing is you need to do is comment on their Instagram at Leadership of the Leaf, all one word, and they'll listen.
I'm on the Instagram page right now. There's a link in the bio. I can even email them.
You can also send them a private message, and they'll respond to your query.
Queries? Did you just say queries? Does that mean question?
Yes, it does.
Well, good. I have a few queries about cigars and a few about leadership.
Well, that's great. I can't wait for the next episode.
This is retired machinist mate first class George Kreischer, or better known as Crash. And you are listening to the Leadership of the Leaf, hosted by Dice and Austin.
All right, welcome back after that break. Hope you was able to get a drink or go to the bathroom if you need to. I don't know what you do during the breaks. I listen
or
to the breaks.
they probably just skipped over everything to get back to the content.
Anyway,
They're driving down the road, hitting that skip button for 15 seconds.
Before we go into our lenses here, our color lenses, we want to talk about our second third. I will say my second third, I still have that earth, but chocolate has crept in. White pepper has went to, I would say, more of the back. I get a lot of the white pepper when I retro, but it's more on the back end. And yeah, chocolate and spicy.
Okay. So my second third is it kind of stepped it up a notch. It got notes of pepper, baking spices, a little bit of nuttiness, and cayenne pepper is in there.
Wow, I was wondering if I was going to hit up some wasabi for the wagashi.
Yeah, it's got a little spiciness in there. You get a little bit of white pepper on the retro, but definitely nuts take over kind of as that dominant flavor profile. The smoke output's still good. The smoke is smooth. It's kind of creamy, but it's really good, and it's definitely got a little earthiness in there. I think from the nuts, but it's definitely it's good. This is really a really well balanced cigar. I would expect nothing less from Dunbarton Tobacco, of course, but it's got a little spice to it now.
All right. I'm curious to what it's going to be when we get to the end here. I'm curious. I'm anticipating to find out. Same as our listeners.
I can't wait. All right. Let's jump into the four lenses, which is the color with which we see the world, so to speak.
All right.
So it's a psychological and personal growth assessment, so to speak. So if you think about the lens is a way of thinking about the world or seeing the world, similar to how glasses with a colored lens change the way we see things. So there's four lenses, and each lens is attached to a personality temperament, and they have, they try to boil everyone down into four. Now, everyone is not one color specifically. I've taken this assessment. I know my color. Dice has taken this assessment. I'm pretty sure you know your color.
Yes.
So it is. Everybody is different. You're a mix of this stuff. So don't be like, I'm all this. Now you will have most people have a dominant lens profile that they see the world with most, but then there's, you have secondaries and tertiaries and the fourth ones and stuff like that. So without further ado, we'll get into the colors and then we'll talk about this a little bit more. But so you have the color-coded system, right? So you have the blue lens, which is blue is nurturing people. These are the people who care about your feelings, very motherly, fatherly, caregiver type people. Then you have gold. Or yellow. These are the highly organized people. These are the detail-oriented people. The people who They have spreadsheets upon spreadsheets and checklists upon checklists, right? They did a checklist for the checklist that they need to get done. Those are the kind of the gold people. Then you have green, these are your out-of-the-box thinkers, your independent thinkers. They start questioning everything, right? Why do we do it this way? Well, wouldn't it be better if we did it this other way? And they're really great people to have around, but they can also not be great to have around, because if you're sitting there trying to get a task done, they're going to be like, well, why can't we just make the widget and shut the hell up? So, they're good, but they can also be bad, just like everybody else. Then you have orange. These are your thrill seekers. They thrive on excitement. These are the people who love going on roller coasters, who love, partying and having a good time. They want to be the life of the party. They're all about the excitement and the thrill, so to speak, right?
Yeah, I call them like risk takers.
Yeah, risk takers. And as you guys can see, or hopefully understand, as a leader, you're going to want each of these kind of people on your team, right? If you have somebody who's all green, then nobody's caring about the process. Nobody cares about the feelings of the next people. Nobody cares about having fun. They're all just going to be off in La La Land trying to go, oh, well, we can innovate this. They're going to innovate until the cows come home and never actually get anything done.
Yeah.
So you want every single one of these on your team. Now, again, not one person is only this. I know for me, I'm yellow or gold. I'm a highly organized person, but my very next one was a tie. It was between orange and green, and then blue was my lowest. But I know people who are blue and then gold, yellow, and then green and then orange. So everybody makes up a little bit of a difference of stuff. So those are the colors of this personality assessment.
Well, you said you were gold. I'm definitely green, and my green was pretty fucking dominant when I took the test.
Yeah, mine was gold, and it was pretty dominant.
And then it goes to blue, and then gold and orange was like almost a tie for last.
Yeah. So mine was different because my gold was. They give you percentages, right? So I think my gold was like 72% or something, and then green and orange were both like 11 or something, and then whatever last percentage, I'm not going to do math, was blue. So I was very low in the blue category, and it's very interesting. If you ever get a chance to take this assessment, definitely take it. But it definitely, you can kind of learn a lot about yourself as a person and as a leader, and how you manage people. You always got those people who are like, why do people always go to you with their problems? Well, because they're probably more blue than you are, or they know how to tap into their blue side a little bit more to actually give a shit about people's feelings. Like golds they don't care about your feelings. They're the highly organized people. They don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about feelings. Let's go. I told you to do it this way. Why are you not doing this way? Well, I felt like I don't give a shit about how you feel. Just go do.
Oh, man. Green is, when I was taking, it's more of a logical thought process. Now I know it says independent thinkers, but it's definitely a logical thought process, because whenever you think of the process of doing something, I tend to think of, how can I do this better? Or what is a different way to get this done? Like, instead of going from A to C, why not we go to A, B, and C? Because B is going to add that extra added step to make things better in a logical thought process. Anyway, we're not talking about us. We're not getting into that. That's 4 lenses of leadership, and it's from the book, The 4 Lenses of Innovation. They don't necessarily correlate with the actual colors of the lenses that we're talking about for personality, but you can kind of see how they fit with the different personalities. Okay, so the 4 lenses of leadership, you have the visionary lens. They focus on big ideas and future possibilities. They're the visionaries that think creatively and are driven by innovation and transformation. And the first person I thought of that would have been Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Then there's the second one is the relationship lens. They emphasize on interpersonal dynamics and collaboration. Relationship orientated leaders are skilled in building and maintaining connections and fostering a positive team environment. And when I think of that, I think of the pit crew boss.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to get everybody on the same page. Everyone has to know their job. Everyone has to have a good relationship with and trust the people next to him. Like the guy putting the tire on has to trust that the guy jacking the car up is going to release it while he's still trying to tighten everything down.
Correct. And then whoever's doing the oil or whatever else has to rely on everybody else doing their part so he can finish at the exact... Everybody's normally supposed to finish at the exact same time if you have a well-oiled machine working in a pit crew.
Yeah. Then you have the analytical lens, which centers on data, facts, logical reasoning. Analytical leaders make decisions based on thorough analysis and empirical evidence, which is great. But if you're under a time crunch, these are going to be the people that slow down and want to take 5 steps back, and you're like, no, just leap. Motherfucker, yeah. I'm telling you, just make a decision. Well, I don't have enough information. The hell you don't. Make the damn decision.
Yes.
We gotta look at everything. No.
We don't have time for that.
Right. But they're great on long-term projects.
What was that World of Warcraft thing where Tyrone and his chicken? Come on, you have to have seen it. You're a computer nerd. I'm not even a computer guy. And the guy steps away from the keyboard, and he comes while he's away from the keyboard. Everybody's calculating. We have a 33% chance of surviving this or whatever. And then he comes back and he was what is he saying?
Leroy
Jenkins. Yeah, and then he just storms in, right?
Yeah.
Well, the people that were not that was at the keyboard, they're doing the analytical thinking process. They're trying to calculate what are the survival rate of doing all this, and then fucking Leroy comes in and fucks all that up.
He jumps. Then you have the operational lens, which is concerned with efficiency and execution. Operational leaders focus on processes, systems, and practical implementation. These are the managers that are like, why is this process so messed up? Why does it go from accounting back to sales, then out to the warehouse? Why doesn't it just go sales, accounting, warehouse? And why are we skipping this extra step? Like, what are we doing?
I'm doing a checklist. I'm making a checklist so we don't mess this process up.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, looking at all four of those, you can kind of see why you would need a little bit of all of that. Imagine if you had someone that was just an analytical lens.
They'd never make a decision.
The whole thing, like your deadlines would be busted every single time if that's the only group that you had on your team. Everybody was analytical. Yeah.
And that's also not to mention the fact that if you had everybody analytical, then the data people would have to go back and look at, well, where did you get this data from? Well, how trustworthy is this data? Well, I don't know if this data, let me go back and look at this, and let me go look at that. And no, stop, make a decision, go.
How'd you get that number?
Yeah, how'd you get that number? And they're all double checking everybody.
Yes.
So, but if you have somebody who's just a visionary lens, great. They have these. They're going to give you a brainstorm, a whiteboard full of great ideas, and you're like, all right, cool, go do one. They're like, I don't know how to get this stuff done. I'm the ideas guy. I don't know what you want.
Right. So clearly you can see these four lenses why you would need a team of all four lenses to make something happen. You want to look through the whole process, the whole leadership concept through all these lenses.
Yeah. So there's more lenses. Obviously, these are the four lenses in psychological and personal growth context.
Yeah.
So this is for your mind and your personal growth. So you have the self lens, which this examines your personal beliefs, emotions, self-awareness. It helps you to understand your own behaviors and motivations. This is one of those ones where you're like, hey, why do I feel like I'm messing every relationship I ever get into up? Why do I self-sabotage? Why do I do this? That's you looking through your self lens and looking at the man in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
So you're sitting there kind of going, what the hell is going on? What am I doing with myself? What do I believe? What do I stand for? That sort of stuff. That's your self lens.
Then you have something called the others lens. It looks at relationships and social interaction. It involves understanding and empathizing. I can read. I promise you, I'm college educated. Empathizing with others' perspectives and emotions. This is putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
So this is the other opposite side of the self.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
this is looking at everybody else.
why did they do that? Let me think. Why did you do that, Austin? Oh,
Right.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Why?
I got it.
Why doesn't Billy trust Sally? Oh, because Sally gave him, a bad review or threw him under the bus to the boss. Okay, got it. Now I understand.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. You're looking at it from the other side. Then you have the context lens, which this considers the broader environment and external factors influencing behavior. It explores how context and situational variables impact experiences. So there's a ethics question, right? That a lot of classes throw out at the beginning, right? It's the railroad conundrum. Have you heard of this?
No, I have my own, but you go with yours.
So imagine yourself sitting at the switch. Like, you know how to railroad, they have a lever, and if you throw the lever one way, the train will go on the track to the left. If you throw it the other way, the train will go on the track to the right?
Yeah.
And you control where that train goes by the lever. So imagine you're standing there by yourself. Nobody else is going to be able to throw the switch for you at all. And on one side of the track, you have your mother tied up on your mother tied up on the railroad track, and the train's hurtling towards her. But on the other railroad track, you have the 5 scientists that have the cure for cancer, AIDS, and world peace in their minds. They don't have anything written down, but they have it in their minds. You know, which one are you going to let the train hit? There's no way to stop the train. You have to let it hit somebody. So this is the context where you're like, why would you not choose this? Well, it's his mother. Okay. Why are you running a red light? Well, my wife's giving birth and I got to get to the hospital. Okay, that makes sense. Why did you do something this way? Why are you acting this way? Oh, you're acting, sad because, you burned your supper this morning. You spilled coffee on yourself. Okay, that makes sense. That's a context.
I'm sorry, you said supper this morning. That's just funny to me.
Maybe they went to Cracker Barrel. That's basically supper.
Well, when I think of this lens, I think of driving on the highway and you're in a pack of cars, right? You're keeping up with a pack of cars, and then everyone slows down. So what naturally you're going to do is you're going to, like, maybe they see a cop or something. I don't know. So you slow down. But as long as everyone else is speeding, you're going to stay right there with the pack and speed with them. So your environment influences exactly what you just decided to do.
Yeah.
But yours was way better than mine.
I'm happy for you, bud.
My environment influenced that context. The next one is the system lens. It focuses on systems and structures within which individuals operate. It involves understanding and the interconnectedness of various elements of how they influence outcomes. Now, this makes me think of the Clockwork Orange. When they had him strapped, for those that have not seen it, because it's an older movie, they had the criminal guy strapped in a chair with his eyelids. There's many parodies of this. His eyelids stretched open and forced him to watch certain videos to change how his criminal mind thought. Then once he was done, he was cured of all his criminal behavior. That is a system that was put in place to change how he viewed the world in his lens.
Yeah, well, it's, you look at a car, right? Like a car engine. You got to understand that the fuel pump has to deliver fuel to the engine. The exhaust manifold has to take the gases away, otherwise you're going to explode. You know, you got to have the pistons and the spark plugs to, provide that pressure and the spark and everything else. That's a system, right? So you got to understand how the entire system works. Well, it's the same thing with people. You got to understand that, salespeople and accounting people and warehouse and HR and all these customer service people, they all operate within the same system, and they all have to work and do their job for the system or the company in this case to function properly. And if one of those things goes down, or they're not doing their job, then you have to fix what's wrong with that system.
Your engine light comes on.
Exactly.
Did you just use a gas car's analogy? Don't you know it's 2024?
Yes. There's gas cars on the road. I understand electric vehicles are there. I can use an electric vehicle if you'd rather.
No. Let's move on.
Jesus. Fucking loser.
These are the lenses that you want to view the world for your personal growth. This is definitely more about an actual personal experience of how you want to move forward. It's not necessarily geared towards a leadership aspect. It's geared towards more of the psychological mindset and personal aspect of oneself.
Right, and you don't want to stay in one lens all the time, right? Because if you're always in the other's lens, you're going to end up with burnout. You're going to end up with, always agreeing with everybody else at the sake of your own beliefs or whatever the case is, because you haven't used your self lens, and you got to figure out what you stand for, what you believe in, what your emotions, your self awareness, that sort of stuff. The same thing with like system lens. Okay, well the system is supposed to operate this way. Okay, well, but you haven't looked at it through the context lens. Context gives us that it can't work that way because of reason A, B, and C.
We're in a cold environment, so maybe you need to warm up the engine block before you start turning the key.
Exactly. Well, it's supposed to just turn at the start of a key. Yeah, I get that, but you're cold. Your engine's cold, your gas is cold, your oil is sludge. At this point, like it's molasses.
Another set of lenses to feature 4 lenses of change management. You have your strategic lens. You look at long-term goals, vision, and how change aligns with the overall strategy. So you just don't want to go forth and conquer. You want to try to get the bigger lens. I think Starbucks is going through that right now because they just changed their CEO, if I'm not mistaken, because the vision that they have kind of grew a little stagnant. So they want to, shake up the box a little bit. They want to start making this more of a breakfast, more of a morning type thing, because everyone goes in there for coffee. But you know what? We do more than coffee. We need to change that outlook.
Yeah, now they have frittatas and muffins and all this other stuff.
Which I think is funny because they always kind of had, not frittatas, but they always had like muffins and breakfast type items and food and lunch and stuff like that. But not everyone would equate Starbucks with breakfast. Everyone equates Starbucks. Anyway, I'm not going into that. But that's this lens. That's the focus of the lens. They want to have that strategic outlook.
Right. And then you have like the operational lens, focuses on the day-to-day processes and systems affected by the change. So, you have your strategic lens of, hey, I want to make this change, and this change is going to help us get our goal of increasing more profit, increasing our customer base, whatever, right?
Yeah.
The operational lens is, all right, what do we need to change in our day-to-day and how are these systems going to change if I try to, what do I need to change to make that strategic view a reality?
A lot of times when I think of that, I think of one of our shows that we absolutely adore is Bar Rescue. Numerous times on Bar Rescue, they have the well where they make drinks and do the water and pour stuff in there, and they got the ice and all that. The well where they do that at. A lot of times it's so separated, or they have to go to one end just to get the ice. Whereas a good change for that would be to centralize all that in one location, and maybe even have 2, one at each end of the bar.
Right. Yeah, that's that operational, that day-to-day process. Well, if I move this here, that's going to ease up all this, restrictions on my employees and all the time that's wasted walking back and forth and everything else.
Yeah, the kitchen triangle.
Yes.
Anyway, cultural lens. Consider the impact of change in organizational culture and employee attitudes. Now, this isn't talking about like the culture where I grew up in the hood and all this, but this is talking about the cultural impact of kind of like getting everyone together so everyone has a better understanding of each other in a cultural aspect. It wants to change more. This is like when a company wants to have a leadership picnic or take everyone out to eat on a Friday night so everyone can get together and have that more of a friendly impact to take away the work environment, to build that morale and cultural get together of everyone to make the operation more smooth.
Yeah, it also is, it might change how employees act, right? Like, so if you have a rule that says, hey, your travel vouchers for official travel have to be put, input into the system within 3 days prior, after your travel, and then you realize, well, that's really hard to do, so you say, never mind. Well, don't be surprised then when your employees go, well, I wanted to do it this way. I know this way is the right way, but it's really difficult to do that. So I thought our culture was, if it's difficult to do it, just ignore that rule. Why did you think that? Because it's really difficult to get our travel vouchers in on time. And so you just told us to ignore it. So I kind of took that to mean if it's really hard to do or difficult to do operationally, then our culture is to just kind of ignore that rule.
Well, yeah, that definitely requires a cultural change. It could be for the good, for the bad, but majority of the time when you're trying to change that culture, you want to do it for the good. But you only can do that if you're looking at something through that cultural lens. Actually, I shouldn't say only, but that's what that lens is for.
Right, yeah. Then the last lens is the technical lens, right? This addresses the technological and procedural aspects required to implement the change effectively, okay? So these are our checklists. These are our, hey, this is exactly how we're going to produce this. This is exactly what we're going to do. Technical and operational lens kind of go hand in hand. This is the minutia of how we're going to do it. The operational lens saying, hey, this is our day-to-day. This is, okay, hey, I want to change this process to A, B, C. The technical lens is, okay, A, I need you to finish all the way up to this point. Then B takes over, and we're going to do up to this point, and then C takes over. So it's even more drilled down, so to speak, than just the operational lens. And all these lenses really, you know what they kind of remind me of?
What's that?
So I've been watching Black Sails quite a bit on Netflix, and it reminds me of a pirate captain.
Yeah?
A ship captain. Like, think about it. He has a strategic lens. He's got to point the ship where he needs to go do, right? Hey, we're going to go over here, and we're going to, get this treasure. The operational lens is the day-to-day process of, okay, everyone has to scrub the deck, and we got to do this stuff, and we got to get the sails, and yeah. The cultural lens is him disciplining his people if anyone gets out of line or doesn't abide by the rules of the ship. And the technical lens is, hey, this is how you tie a bowline knot to keep the sails up, and this is how you keep the powder dry, and this is how you do this sort of stuff. That's all falls under the purview of the captain of the ship, making sure everything is done correctly.
Man, I'm so proud of you right now.
Are you?
Yeah, that was really good. I've never seen black sails a day in my life, but I understand what you was just saying.
I just use the pirate ship because they're all pirates in there.
Only pirate I know is the Flying Dutchman.
Davy Jones.
SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Don't hold that against me.
I will.
Okay.
So each set of lenses provides different perspective, helping individuals and organizations analyze and approach problems and opportunities from multiple angles. So you have to, again, I think we've said it so many times in this episode, you have to use all of these different lenses to be successful. If you get stuck in one, you need to realize, hopefully you realize it, or hopefully you have a good leader or mentor, or hopefully your subordinates come up to you and they say, hey, you're really focusing on this. What about this other thing? You know, you're focused on A, what about B? Oh shit, I didn't realize I was only focusing on A. You're right. All right, let me get out of that lens and let me go over here. So if you're just focused on one, you're gonna have a bad time.
So as we was talking about all the different lenses, we started off with colors, and then we kind of went away from the colors. So to jump back into colors to give it more of the personality aspect of the lens, as we mentioned up top, we talked about the gold or yellow, which you kind of alluded to for yourself, the analytical person, the analytical guy with characteristics of detail-oriented, methodical, and precise. Their strong analytical and problem-solving skills focus on accuracy and quality. Their preferred environments is more of a structure and data-driven and well-organized settings. Well, as you were saying, like it's more data-driven decisions where they're definitely highly organized people. Yeah,
and then you have the blue, which is the relational. They're empathetic, supportive, team-oriented. They're very good at building relationships, understanding of each other's needs, and fostering collaboration. They prefer being in inclusive, supportive, and team-centric environments. They're not going to do well if you stick them out on an island and say, go do. They're going to go, but what about my team? What about my people? How am I going to get through the day?
What's the next? The next color is green. Green is the innovative. Characteristics are creative, enthusiastic, and visionary. Their strengths, ability to think outside the box, generate new ideas, and inspire others. Their preferred environments are dynamic, flexible, and open to experimentation. I definitely see that in myself because I see the green. I wouldn't necessarily say experimentational, but it's definitely a lot of me in that.
But it could be experimenting a new process. Could be experimenting with, hey, what if I change this, and this? Would that be better? You know, let me experiment with that. It's not necessarily experiment as in let me take this big old risk and hope it works out. But it's hey, if we tried, you know, you got to think there's some green people at one point or another that were like, hey, what if we used computers to solve all our math problems rather than hand jamming everything? What if we use computers to develop software that manages time cards so I don't have to punch a time card every day?
My abacus has worked great for years. Okay?
You keep up that abacus, sir.
What's the last color? Orange? The driver. Getaway driver. Characteristics are action-oriented, decisive, and goal-focused. They go forth and conquerors. Strong leadership skills, ability to drive results, and take initiative. The preferred environments are fast-paced, goal-driven, and results-oriented settings. You want to get from A to B? You want to get to B? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get you that. Don't ask questions. Just follow my lead.
Just hop in.
Yeah.
These are the ones that I don't care how you get it done. Just get it done. Cool. Don't ask questions at the end. Then.
Will do, Captain.
Yeah. Yeah. Ha. These are the people though that you got to watch out for because these are the same people that are like, you're like, hey, go get this done. They're going to be the ones out there with no safety equipment, no nothing, and they're going to just be like, you said get it done, I got it done. And you're like, yeah, but in the process, you broke 17 OSHA laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's done, right? Like, yes?
But at what cost, sir? But at what cost?
But we also got fined $6 million.
Yeah. For the orange people, I definitely, if I'm giving directions or whatever, I make sure that my directions are not vague.
Yeah. Here's the goal. This is how I want you to accomplish the goal. And these parameters. Oh, okay.
Fine.
These are your risk takers. So yeah, understanding all these different colors are going to help you in appreciating different personality types and improving communication and collaboration within your team. Each color represents a different approach to work and interaction, and recognizing these differences can lead to a more effective teamwork and personal growth. I can't tell you how many times, as a yellow or gold person, I'm very analytical. I don't really care about feelings so much. So, like, if you were to put them on a quadrant, right, on a math quadrant, like, you know,
Y and X axis.
Yeah, I am like yellow is the opposite of blue, and green is the opposite of orange, pretty much. So, it's definitely like, I don't care about your feelings. I just want to get it done, and I need you to get me the data. The data is all that matters. Give me the data now. And so that can always and obviously rub people the wrong way. So I've had to sit there and realize that from myself, looking through the self lens, right?
Yeah.
I can't always just go do what I need to go do. I have to sit there and foster a relationship with somebody. I have to gain their trust, especially if I'm working with somebody who is of the blue lens. I have to sit there and kind of build a relationship with them and kind of gain their trust for them to actually be able to do what I need them to go do. The same thing can be said if you look at countries, right? So, like, if you look at the United States, we're very much result-oriented, data-driven, organized. But you look at somewhere like the Middle East or like India, they don't even start business until you've had a relational, like, foundation set. Like, so you're going to have a meal, you're going to have, you come into a meeting, and the meeting doesn't start on time. That's going to drive gold and people up the wall. They're going to sit there and be like, the meeting was supposed to start at 9. It is now 10:30, and all the fuck we've talked about is people's, like, how they like to get data or whatever. Yeah. But that's because they, as that culture, is very relational oriented. So you have to have that relationship to be able to do business.
Well, I'm just like, understanding these colors helps in appreciating different personalities, but understanding the different colors of your cigar will help, understand the different flavor profiles that you get, as in, like, the third of your cigar, the final third of your cigar.
I gotta say, I'm so proud of you, because that was a great segue. So I get a little bit of coffee and cinnamon, nice. And then some salted nuts and like bread. It's really, really well balanced. The honey and the cream are basically gone. So it's, I don't know, it's very, like, it kind of morphed into the spiciness, and it's kind of mellowed out into finishing the meal, so to speak, as here's some coffee and nuttiness and some, like, cinnamon, like a little bit of cinnamon spice, and like a nice bread to kind of finish everything off.
All right. Bread. Okay. My flavor profile has stayed around the earth and the pepper. There's definitely chocolate coming in. It's not overpowering chocolate. It's just, it's definitely there. I don't think I read the little, like, notes for it at the beginning. It's a collaboration between Manuel Quesada and Nestor Plasencia. They put a note of spicy smoke with hints of cocoa and anise. I definitely got the anise, the star anise, in the second third. The final third is definitely weaned off. Earth is there. Definitely white pepper is there. There's no, like, punch you in the mouth flavor. It's all a great mixture of everything that I have named throughout the first and second third.
Okay. I'm down with it. So that begs the question then, Dice. Is it single, 5-pack, or box-worthy?
It's time to answer the question. Is a cigar box worthy, 5-pack, or just 1 or 2?
Well, I will admit, I'm rather I'm enjoying this cigar rather a lot, like quite a bit. The other problems I have, I'm not too keen on the shape. It feels a little awkward in my hand. I call it whatever you want. The construction of it isn't the greatest.
Can I call it finger feel?
The finger, I like that finger feel. The finger feel is not there for me. It's kind of like if I was to try to smoke a Black and Mild now, it's just not going to feel right in my hand. The cap wasn't constructed very well. The cut was kind of sloppy. Maybe that's due to my part. I like to think against that. The burn line is wonderful. The smoke output was a little heavier than I enjoy. The ash has been good. Wow, this is a tough one. I'm going 1 or 2.
1 or 2, really? For as enjoyable as that smoke has been?
The flavor profile hasn't been like I said, it's not punching your mouth like a single flavor. It's a mixture of everything. It's like listening to a mixtape, right? There's going to be 1 or 2 songs you're going to be like, shit, that's my jam. I really like that song. Then there's going to be 1 or 2 songs like, I don't really care too much for them. Then there's going to be like 2 or 3 songs that's heavy radio play. You don't really like them, but you know the words for whatever reason. That's what this is a nice mixtape cigar. Like I'm getting a nice group of, none of the flavors have been like off, like, oh my God, I'm gonna throw this thing away. But none of the flavors has been like, man, that's my jam.
Okay. All right, and so single for you.
With the construction issues, put it in the 1 or 2.
Okay.
So maybe if I smoke another one and I don't have as many construction flaws as I had to touch up. I don't know if you heard it or not, but I did have to touch up only one time. Not a big deal. So I will give it another try, but as of right now, 1 or 2.
Okay. All right. So for the Sobremesa Brûlée Wagashi, which is obviously from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, it's a great cigar. It's an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper with Mexican San Andrés negro binder and Nicaraguan filler. Definitely pretty solid cigar. In my personal assessment, I think this is a box-worthy cigar.
Oh, nice.
It's very good. The flavors, you get the creaminess and a little bit of spiciness. Then you come down to like kind of finish the meal with some coffee and nuts and stuff like that. But it maintains a hint of spice throughout the whole thing, which is really good because I do like a little bit of spice. The construction on this thing is dang near perfect. Again, I wouldn't expect nothing less. For a Connecticut, the flavor profile is awesome. And the only bad thing is this comes in a box of 13. But I still say box worthy for this.
All right. Well, I definitely will need to pick 1 or 2 or a box or 5, or I definitely need to pick it up and give it a try at a minimum.
I would recommend you would not be upset if you had a 5-pack of these for sure. This hits my flavor profile pretty good for a Connecticut lighter type cigar. I would say if you picked up a 5-pack, you wouldn't be upset about it, but definitely for me, box worthy.
All right, that's fucking phenomenal. We talked about those shades which you referred to,
the colors
of the cigars. There is one color cigar that we have yet to smoke on air. I'm still trying to hook up with the maker of that cigar at Lenovo Cigars. It's a red one, and how they got that cigar to be red is they actually use wine. Like a red wine Marlowe or whatever. I'm not a wine guy, but they use wine to change the color of that cigar. I'm looking forward to smoking it. I do apologize to our listeners because we have mentioned it a long time ago before. I'm still working behind the curtain here trying to get it set up because there's not much out there or anything out there for a red cigar. So I really want the maker of that cigar to be on air with us so they can explain it in greater detail than us just, fumbling through it.
Yeah.
So,
that I agree, and unfortunately, that was one of my cigars I lost to the mold, so I have to find another one.
I'll get you hooked up. Trust me. We talked about the different personality color lenses to equate to leadership and how that would affect your team looking through the world through a different color lens. Rose tinted glasses, sir. Rose tinted glasses or gold tinted. Whichever color you want there.
There you go. All right. Until next time, I'm Austin.
And I'm going to stay Dice.
And great leaders smoke great cigars.
Thank you for listening to Leadership of the Leaf. The comments and opinions expressed by the host and guests does not reflect the opinions of those that broadcast this show, nor does it reflect any of our affiliates.